Hey, it's Tim.
And it's Amy from GoWithLess. We're really glad that you're here. In today's video, we're going to be talking about our feelings as we get going on our nomadic adventure. If you've been following us for a while, you know that we've been quite transparent and we've went through a bit of muck the past few months, even 18 months maybe. And we want to let you know now that we are through selling our house and we're getting ready to go on our big adventure. Actually, we're on our big adventure already. We want to share our feelings because things have changed.
We are here in New Orleans, Louisiana. We're going on a cruise. We'll be on a cruise ship. In the morning, when this video comes out, we'll actually be in the Caribbean somewhere, I think in Grand Cayman.
How cool is that? And just on a side note, we paid for that cruise with points and miles, so it's going to be free.
I think we have more to talk about there. I think we owe you guys about 47 videos about different things with points and miles. So those are to come this year as we get settled in and have some time to sit down and put that together.
Yes, and we were able to get out of our home a little bit quicker than we had expected. So we booked this last minute cruise. We are super, super excited because it is wintertime and we were able to get out of Colorado and off we go on a cruise. So way fun on that one.
Yeah, our primary, at least my primary emotion with our new lifestyle is elation. So I am so excited about being on the other side of getting out of our home. It's such a load off to have that behind us, and we cannot wait to get going with our life. And actually, I guess it started. We've moved to Texas. We made all of our Texas chores happen. And when we get on this cruise tomorrow, I think our new life really kicks into gear.
And you just went to the punchline, actually.
Oh, sorry. There you go.
So just a little build-up.
It was I stole the thunder. So Amy usually takes my thunder, so now I get to take
Well,
hers.
I'm going to back up a little bit, so there's
Okay.
the end. But the backing up, we started to get rid of our belongings really about a year and a half ago, in the middle of 2018, when we decided to go ahead and sell our home. We had to wait for our third and last kiddo to leave the nest, so we were able to have some time to get our ducks in a row. We didn't understand. We thought we were getting rid of our things expeditiously, but we really weren't. And we thought we were, but the pace of what we needed to do at the end was so fast and furious that it lets us know that we really weren't doing it as fast and furiously as we should have been doing a year and a half ago. But anyway, what we have been talking about through our videos, really more me, is how hard it was to get rid of our things, the nostalgic things, and how to get rid of our furniture, and to the questions that we had about leaving our home and things like that. So with so many of our viewers potentially going to be hitting the road as nomads in their future, I know many of you are looking to us to see, like, how are we doing and what lessons might you take from us. So we wanted to share where we are at the beginning of our journey. And as Tim mentioned, I'm also elated. There's an enormous sense of peace that came as soon as we left Colorado, because our home sale was wrapping up in the next day and everything was very on track. So we've had like these chores on our to-do list really for about 18 months, and we have been traveling for roughly a third of that. But whenever we've been home, there was always more to do, more things to get rid of, more things to box up, more things to try to sell. In the end, we didn't sell a lot of our things. We ended up giving a lot of our things away because we didn't have time to sell them.
Yeah, and so Amy and I had this conversation right before we recorded the video. Also, I was listing off all the things that I have to do in our new life, and so I think that the point is there's plenty of things that we still have to do that are on our list, but we are free from that life that we had in Colorado. We're free from the stuff that we had there as well, and there's a cloud that's been lifted that is now, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's incredible. Freeing. We're liberated, we're emancipated, we're on the other side of all that stuff that we had to get done. And as Amy mentioned, it was a multi-year chore. We crammed it all into like a month, it seemed like, but it was
a really busy month, but we have been doing it for the year and a half.
We should have been doing it more aggressively throughout the year, but nonetheless, here we are.
Yeah. Now, my mom doesn't watch most of our videos. That's the reality. And
she used to be our only viewer.
She used to be our only viewer when we did travel stuff. She likes the travel stuff. But the money stuff, I don't think she's that interested. I don't think she's interested at all. But what she told me yesterday when I told her about our travel plans, she goes, that sounds awful. She's not a traveler. Somehow my dad and my stepmom are huge travelers. My mom, not at all. So when she heard our travel plans, she was like, that sounds awful. Well, what I told her is something to consider how what we're doing here is it's like if you, Mom, if you were put in prison and you could only stay in your cell block forever, how would you maybe feel? Would you maybe feel like you wanted to get out? You wanted your freedom? That is what our house ended up feeling like to us at the end. So we were chained to our house. We had all these, we wanted to be out seeing the world, and we wanted to be away from the very cold winters that we've already experienced in Colorado, even in October. Lots of cold, lots of snow. So we really wanted to spread our wings and fly, but we couldn't because we were chained back with that house. So I look at that house kind of, so I really ended up, I don't miss it. The idea of having a house at this moment, I don't miss it at all. And I want to talk about some things at the beginning of this nomad journey now that we are just starting it. Some of my concerns wouldn't be the right word. Maybe curiosities. I'm curious how some of the things I'm curious about, how this will shake out in our nomad life. So number one is not having a home. In the moment, we couldn't be happier.
Yeah, so I think the challenge is that every single night we have to make a decision about where we're going to be. So we've pre-planned a lot of our year, so we have probably 250 plus nights planned for this year where we don't have to think about it anymore. There's actually engagement with all of that, but nonetheless, we have a lot of our year planned, but figuring out where you're going to be every night is certainly a challenge that we'll face, one that we're signed up for and one that we're actually excited about. But something, if you were going to be a full-time nomad, just think about not having a bed that you know where you're going to land tonight. So you have to figure all that out. So that's something that we're dealing with some emotion, not trepidation. It's actually excitement.
And actually, I'm going to say that I do about 90% plus, maybe 100% of the where we're going to stay.
I booked tonight.
Did you? You booked tonight. Okay, 1 out of 365.
2 nights. Both of our Louisiana nights I put together.
Okay, so that is great.
You're welcome.
Yes, I got the rest, and it's a lot. But thankfully, I'm a super organized, planned person. Tim takes care of other amazing things in our life, but this is kind of my thing, and we've talked that we separate things. Maybe we'll talk in a future video about like what things do I do in our life and what things does Tim do, because they are very different and they support our life together. So that's a good video topic, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah. If nothing else, it could be like a Valentine's card for one another to be like, here's what I love about what you're doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So number 2. I don't know if anyone's noticed. I'm wearing this top for the 3rd time in the past 4 videos. I noticed, and I don't have a lot of clothes options. So this seems to be something that people, when I say what we're doing, losing a home. So a lot of people are like, oh, that sounds really cool, but I could never do it. We get it. We could never do it either in the past. And yet we are doing it. So losing a home is a big deal. You certainly don't have to lose a home to be a full-time or long-time traveler. Many of our nomadic friends still kept their home. But the big one also is like, I can't deal with just a few outfits. I can't deal with the, limited accessories and things like that. I used to collect handbags in my past life, and
scarves.
I used to collect a lot of, all of it,
yeah.
all of it. I was a normal, girly girl and had all that stuff. I wasn't a big makeup person, but I did have all the shoes and accessories and jewelry and all that stuff. So slowly but surely, I think Colorado broke me of that. When I lived in New York City, I didn't even own or wear jeans because I was kind of fancier. Well, Colorado, I'm a lot more casual there now. But I'm wondering, how am I going to do with this fatigue of my clothes? And certainly, can I buy and swap out things? Yes, and we are planning to do that. But up front, it's not the whole range of what I've had available to me. And I think that this is the smallest problem. This is the most first world problem ever. I absolutely realize that. But the idea of I'm going to be sticking with the same sorts of clothes, even though they're clean because we do a lot of laundry, it's kind of boring. And if that's and I think that the feast for my eyes and the things that I'm going to taste, I think that completely will make it so that, and the new places that we're experiencing, the new pets and our new friends that we're going to make, I think that I'll get over it. But just up front, I'm wondering how much of a biggie that will be.
I'm considering simplifying my wardrobe, a la Steve Jobs, a la Mark Zuckerberg, something like that, in terms of just having a single pair of pants. Or not a single pair of pants, multiple pairs of pants, but the same type of pants. And same thing with the shirt, just having this almost like a uniform that I wear every day just to make it so I have less decisions to make.
Clean.
Of course, all my clothes are always going to be clean. Even though our clothes, we may wear the same thing regularly, they're always going to be clean. So that is an important feature of our wardrobe is it will be clean.
Yes. Another thing is community. Community is, I am somebody, it is going to be hard for you to know someone who is into community more than me. This is my jam. I love making friends. I am a social person beyond belief. And I thankfully can make friends really quickly and very easily. I think it's kind of my superpower.
100% Amy's superpower.
But sometimes we're facing other languages. Sometimes we were in a place last summer. We didn't really have an opportunity to make friends because we were in a French suburb. The friends that we had left for 3 weeks of our 5 weeks, and it wasn't really the kind of place where you're making friends. And so there weren't any hotels in town, and there weren't any hotels in town. I looked for activities. I couldn't find any activities that were for adults. So it really wasn't set up to make friends. And if there were friends to be had, I think I would have made them.
I'm sure she would have. So for me, I'm a little introverted, and so I very, very, very much appreciate everybody that Amy brings into our lives, and I love having these relationships, and I love that element of our life. However, for me to reach out and actually make that happen, I think I would be a hermit if it weren't for Amy living in a hole somewhere.
And you wouldn't like it, though.
No, probably
maybe a little
not.
bit. Maybe for a little bit.
I 100% love that dynamic of our life, this having these relationships that Amy brings into our situation. It's just for me to reach out, I'm just not wired that way.
And a little side note, on a couple videos a few weeks ago, I mentioned a couple who reached out to us from Austin and invited us to stay. Well, we did stay with them, and we were with them for 2 nights this past weekend. Within 10 minutes, we were best friends with this couple. We were there for 2 nights. We wondered, is this the craziest thing we've ever done on the way? I hadn't really thought about it going in, but I realized, I don't know if we're sleeping on a couch. We're in our 50s. We're not sleeping on couches any longer, so we need a bed. We need some privacy, and we're not back in our college days or kids, so we didn't know what to expect. And we did have our own bed, we had our own bathroom, and the couple is fabulous. I think that we will be lifelong friends. So, and this was immediately that we became these like tight. So we're very lucky that our audience is also part of our community, and I know that many of you have reached out from where you live, and we are hoping to meet you on our travels because I'm going to need some friends, and looking forward to meeting viewers and locals wherever we are, other travelers. But I wonder up front, like, how is that going to be? We have a very big, close community in our hometown in where we come from in Colorado. How are we going to deal with that?
You're going to deal with that.
Also, volunteering has been a really big part of our lives. We're not going to be doing the same sort of volunteering. We worked hard to find us good volunteer gigs, and we really adored those. We spent a lot of our time doing those gigs while we were home, and that is gone. So we like to give back.
Certainly. So once we find, number one, if we're in a place for a very short period of time, a week or something like that, I think that's going to be a challenge to bring back into our lives. And so I guess we're looking for opportunities to do these volunteer gigs, but we're probably going to have to be someplace for a little longer bit of time to figure out how we fit that in. So, but something that will certainly be back on our radar.
Yeah, I'm wondering if we can integrate some of that. We have a lot of house sits booked this year, so I'm wondering if we can integrate some like volunteer, just some, helping others into our house sits.
Yeah, we will figure that out for sure.
So these are just some things on our mind. We're getting ready to pack up for our cruise in the morning, and I'm not going to be able to respond to comments next week because we're going to be offline in the middle of the sea. So I do know that I am so far behind on comments, but we are soon to be in a more stable, calm, even though it's we're at some longer sits, and we'll be able to really take some time to answer the questions that you've asked and to post some of the blog posts that we've been discussing about the travel hacking and how we got, a whole bunch of our vacations have been almost free and things like that. So we have a video about the things that we kept in our storage unit. We're ready to discuss that, but again, we just have to be able to sit down and record it. So thanks for everybody being so patient with us. And in the middle of February, things really start to get into a normal groove, and we're hoping to be a lot more relaxed. Good luck.
Exactly. Our question for you this week is going to be, what would you do if you were fire? And basically you had the freedom to do whatever it is you want to do. What would you be doing?
Put it down below in the comments. I will get back to them soon enough. And with that, we'll see you next week.
Sayonara.